So last session when we finished off 2022, you all finished the first level of your dungeon. You made it out with one mishap, one near fatality with Rick, where you discovered you're in a Care Bear level, so he was very luckily brought back to you, dazed and confused. But you made it through, defeated the couple of extremely aggressive animated armors. You completed around 60% of that dungeon, and that then affected the amount of golden rewards that were allocated to you. You found out as you came through. You found yourself then in this world between. That is an area you will hopefully get to revisit multiple times, as it's the stopping off point in between dungeons, where each time you successfully complete a level of the dungeon, as you come through and then are waiting for other crawlers to finish or fail,
That's right, I got a
this is the space
dragon.
that you can stay in. The system characters are such as Mort, your bop crew who handles your safe room, and Mish, who you've met, who we'll revisit again in a moment, and Shay, who was the cheesemonger that a few of you met. They're all off limits from attacks, protected by the system unless they instigate something with you. So these are all elements that you were filled in on with a quite severe brain dump that you're now becoming used to as the system levels up your knowledge and information, each subsequent level you gain, or each subsequent hurdle that you overcome. So upon doing some investigation around the world in between, you found that almost everything is barricaded up. You also discovered that yourselves and Mort and Mish shared this strange tattoo that lit up when you went near the Desperado Club. It was in various different locations for each of you, but it was essentially a marking of a dagger that had what looked to either be a ring or a halo around the handle of it. That each of you have been imprinted with at some stage during your travels. You haven't discussed this with anybody yet. You've noticed it. Actually, I do take that back. No, actually, sorry. I should look at my notes instead of looking at the webcam. You all noticed it because it lit up when you went past the Desperado Club. Some of you noticed it on Mort's forearm, those of you that had a higher perception level, which I think was Ivy and Rick. I can't remember whether you shared that information with your team, so I'll let Ivy decide that, with Rick not being here. Two of you bought some varying degrees of cheese, including Alia, who now has a massive wheel of cheese in her storage at the moment, which was something that Mort asked her to do. You guys have also been filled in by the cheesemonger that what appears to be what the AI filled you in on as you came through the levels of an optional or a side quest, something that you can potentially use to engage with the denizens of this realm and potentially earn some levels or some rewards. This is the inclination that Alia, at least with her intelligence, got in talking with the cheesemonger. Fokionis was very hungry and promised to think about doing the job. How much he grasped of that, I
Oh,
don't know.
that's right, we
You
had to go
haven't
to the
yet shared
cheese
that with any of the
warehouse.
rest of your group, but he had a quest essentially where what seemed like a quest in the language of the AI, that he had something that was eating into his profits in his cheese warehouse, not the shop front that you saw, but the much larger warehouse. And he essentially has, once the problem's solved, and for every day that passes now that he's mentioned it to you, and he will be mentioning it to other crawlers as well if he thinks they might be able to do it, the reward diminishes because his profits continue to be eaten with every night that passes. His cheese his product is being eaten into. So that is an option that you will need to revisit back with Shay if you would like to take him up on that, because you left him with no firm answer, just that you'll be talking with your teammates. At
Oh yeah, and then
there
right
was
with Jay
quite a bit of
kidnapping.
conversation happened with Mish, who was the impish little goblin orphan who is running the Mishmash Emporium. And in getting to know her and looking through the wares, Rick bought a whole bunch of stuff, spent himself dry, and put items on order that will be delivered to Mort, including some manacles and blankets and simple clothing that he mentioned to the group that he would like to try and start taking people prisoners instead of killing them. And that was his reasoning for getting those items. But they will be with Mort whenever you potentially see Rick again. At the end of that session, we had a huge exposition dump that was just purely necessary for time, where a Kuatin in a spacesuit, which is the little fish people, dropped down into the Emporium, blanketed the area, and basically sent the AI away from the space as an administrator of the Boron Corporation and of the Fall, and filled you guys in on a whole bunch of stuff, including that there is an organization, an underground organization called the Anarchists that have been operating since the very first Fall, seeking ways to undermine and destroy the entirety of the operation that just moves from planet to planet throughout the multiverse, universe, taking resources and destroying planets like it has with Earth. It turns out that Mort, Mish, and Mash are all connected, but you don't have to have a name starting with M to be part of the Anarchists. Zev is part of it as well, who is now an administrator in the Boran organization. Zev took Rick willingly, without too much knowledge, but just on faith that she needed essentially a human assistant from the crawl. He has the potential to revisit you guys at various points in the future, potentially, depending on what Zev needs from him at any given moment. And she did leave behind this really scrappy, raggedy cat that she seemed to be treating lovingly as if it was the cutest kitten in the world, but to the rest of you, it just looks like an angry lump of muscle and fury, with missing an eye and patches of hair, whose name was Grebo. But it essentially is an observer that is unlikely to be noticed by anyone other than you, and then only if he wants you to, or Zev wants you to notice him. So he will take no part, but he is there. At the very least, he's an observer for Zev, and the rest of his role or what it might entail, you have no knowledge of at present. And we finished with, in that very short time frame, the that cone of silence, the pushing away of the AI was only for a limited period of time, and with Zev and Rick departing, you were given the instruction not to mention or say anything unless it was indicated by one of the known anarchists that it was safe to do so. That you need to basically pick up and resume. You are able to make mention of the fact that Rick has left. It's the underground organization of the anarchists, and the long-term play they've got where they're trying to take down the entire organization. Definitely don't mention any of that, was the indication. Don't bring the AI's attention to it. But you can definitely discuss and deal with the fact that Rick has left with the system administrator and been taken off to be an assistant, seemingly not an uncommon practice during the events of the Fall. And we then come back into, with that shroud dropping, you've all just witnessed Rick leave in that beam of light with Zev, the Kuatin admin. There was still some of you who were wanting to buy items. There is a chest there that you can click on to see what's there. Please don't start buying things willy-nilly through there. We still need to use D&D Beyond as a point of truth. But now it's over to the four remaining of you, and Mish is in there as well, to deal with what comes next. So
like
over
right
to
next
you.
to the chest, and it's not opening for me.
Go click on it.
Yeah, double click on it.
Did
we discuss last time that I'd give Dante some of my gold so he could get a +1 weapon?
You were discussing it, but I had to pull it up because you were also talking about buying a rapier. And Mish had mentioned that it was available, but that was when Zev arrived. So sorry, I was going to bring that up when we got to, if you guys talk to Mish. So Mish sort of shakes herself with that shroud disappearing, and just resumes that same sort of affable innocence that seems very honest and open for her. She's ready to continue with whomever wants to speak, say, or do first. How's everyone feeling about Rick disappearing?
Where'd Rick go?
Ruby.
Yeah, it should have a party. Oh no. I'm gonna miss him. Of course. It's very sad. Sad music. Did I already have a rapier on my sheet? Did I actually buy that, or did I not?
You may have completed that transaction. Mish
Right.
definitely said she had one. And you were having a discussion about purchasing items versus the cost to enchant it, which was essentially 100 gold less than buying the item plus one item outright. So if you've got it, then you would have completed that transaction. You definitely didn't
Okay.
do any gold transfers with Fokionis unless you guys did that off stream.
Alright, good. So how much gold do you need for a +1 weapon of your choice, Mr. Fock?
So my question, Spa, is
Dante, you've gone really
Why is he
quiet.
so
for me, mate.
quiet?
oh, what's going on?
Still really quiet.
No,
You broke it.
I
Is
don't
your
know.
audio now going via your webcam instead of your microphone?
yeah. Webcam good. Audio
Uh-oh.
bad. Holding on.
All right. While Fokionis
Alright.
checks through his bags and tries to count his money, which is a slow process. 1, 2. Ivy, Alia's was given a garbage bin, like a 44-gallon metal garbage bin full of just miscellaneous offcuts, and you already took this loot into your inventory, I believe, Miss Racer, but you were given that to just start digging through by Mish, who very quickly identified your needs and was really kind to you as a raccoon who'd been thrown into this sentience and was still trying to follow your normal nature. So you did a lot of
Yeah,
pounds
I'm
of
in heaven in a
junk.
fucking barrel.
Yeah. So Alia is
Clearly
just
not
a
smoking.
set of feet and a tail wiggling out the top of this bin that is taller than she is, just hoiking everything into her bag, looking at something every now and then, maybe taking a bite out of something half eaten or rotten, and then in it goes. So she's sorted. She can decide whether she wants to come to the actual shop. Ivy.
Walking around these aisles, the messy one and the clean one, I would like to pick out roughly 10 bottles of whatever the red liquid is.
So there's 5 bottles that are now identified in the inventory. So the red bottles, there's 5 of them that are potions of healing, and they are 50
Yeah.
gold each. There are
50
also
gold for
some
each
empty
potion.
vials, empty glass vials that are 1 gold each. They're also a pinky red color. But the ones with liquid in them are potions of healing, labeled as potions of healing, that are 50 gold apiece.
I would like to
Labeled.
grab my
They could be
coin
poison.
purse and slowly count out enough to buy 2 potions of healing with my 100 gold pieces.
So,
Oh, you
so
can't
with
trade gold. That's annoying.
please don't try and do it through the shop. I've disabled a few of the settings because I don't want it to break when I pull things in from D&D Beyond. So if you essentially use the shop as you're perusing what's available and then add your items in to D&D Beyond, I will synchronize all your characters before you
Oh
leave
no,
the shop.
if you look under players, it says request trade.
Oh, right. I haven't even looked at the settings for that. So
So the gold that
do
we
those
see
verbally.
when we open the shop, that's our own gold?
Yeah.
Cool. Ah, you can hear me. Yay.
Okay, oh, you're back. Okay, so you've now got 2 potions of healing, and the shop has received another 100 gold. So Mish hands those over to you, wrapping them carefully in a small, almost a gift box, to keep them safe from breakages. You can do with those what you will, but they're nicely, carefully packed. And she hands them over with a big smile.
Okay, while I've got her here, can I ask, how do I actually use them? Do I shove them down someone's throat? Do I rub it on an ointment?
Okay.
Do I need to spray it?
Okay, Mish is very excited by the question and that she can help. So she takes one. It's okay. Like this. I'm going to pretend, and just mimics uncorking the top of the healing potion. She doesn't actually open it because she wants to sell it, and then opens her mouth and tips it back. She's not actually being patronizing, but this is a strange question for someone who's grown up in the world and the universe that the fall exists in. So all of this magic and fantasy, and she's been familiar with this. She was a goblin when she walked in to the dungeon, has remained such, and is very familiar with these things. So she's wanting to get the message across to you, but she doesn't know just how little you know. So she's mimicking the uncorking of it and tipping it back. And then she taps whoever's nearest to her. I'm going to say it's Fokionis, who's got his mouth half open trying to count past 10, and mimics tipping it into his as well, and then goes, so just uncork it, tip it in the mouth of whoever you want to heal.
Yeah.
Please don't rub it on your skin or spray anybody with it. You'll waste your gold.
Cool. Thank you for that. Very helpful.
That's okay. She's continues to be that same effervescence, enthusiastic.
Tastes like cough medicine.
She didn't actually. She just looks at you confused, and
That's how most people look at me.
No.
what,
No, if you make that motion with your hand over your mouth, you can taste it.
she's just watching this conversation and still and doesn't really know what cough medicine is, but she can kind of pick up on the context of it. Big man, what do you want?
I'm not sure yet.
It's not like you've had a month.
I mean, sure.
And you, Zachary Zordak, what do you go by? Zev called you a very strange name.
Zordak the Great, Zev called me. It's the name I was known by before, but I think Zachary will be fine for now.
Fascinating. I would like to know one day what made you so great. That sounds like an interesting story, but Zachary it is. Zachary it is. And what can I help you with other than your rapier?
How about a bow? Like a sort of, so I can shoot things at people without getting sort of too close if I want.
Oh, yes. Yeah, look, I'm sorry that I cannot unlock any. And she's got this just reminder, this massive collection of crossbows across the back wall behind one of those shimmering barriers. But she taps something underneath the counter again, and they all flip. And what you see are a whole range of weapons, but they do also include different types of ranged weapons. She has available a longbow, a +1 longbow. I believe she has a couple of crossbows in there. Yep, a hand crossbow, a light crossbow +1. The hand crossbow, 75 gold pieces.
And I think
there's a slingshot.
And
there's a javelin. You've seen the javelin working. I'm talking to you here as just talking about what you can see rather than what Mish has.
I think I'll wait till I find out how much Dante's weapon will cost me before I.
All right, I'm guessing that's above the table because she has no idea who a Dante is. All right, we're back to you, big man.
Well, I have a javelin. I'm pretty keen on a single-handed weapon, so I'm just trying to look through what my options are rather than a two-handed weapon because I'm still squishy at this stage.
So there's a hand axe, there's longsword. You can wield that one-handed. There's a rapier like your friend Zachary. There's just Zachary.
Warhammer one-handed. Yeah, okay, cool. It's
It's versatile. See.
Versatile.
Yeah, many of these you can choose whether, especially with your size, to wield one or two-handed. They will be more or less effective.
There's not a +1 Warhammer though. That's the whole point of this, isn't it?
I'm sure she could dig up a +1
Warhammer. There is not a +1 Warhammer listed, but she did mention that she was able to dig up some extra items for Rick.
Rick.
That she was confident that she had of all of the common weapons, that she may not have the basic version, but she was very confident that she had the +1 version. So she could go through her brother's gear and no doubt find you a. Would you like to know how much a +1 Warhammer would cost?
Yes, please.
315 gold.
Whoa, okay. Wow. What's an EP? That's a good question. Because
It's an item that wouldn't let me change from gold to silver, so it's actually an error code. So the javelin is 50 silver.
that's not a +1 javelin.
Yeah,
Right.
if you see that one EP, it's just because I couldn't change the currency to silver because it started off as gold in D&D Beyond.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just let me
So,
know.
can
That's a
I
technical
inquire, does
technical me
Mishmash
question.
does Mishmash trade? Like, if we have items in our pack that we have accumulated?
Yes. She just asked that you leave them with her to come up with a value because she may not know all of
Sketchy.
them. But
Sketchy.
the game has the AI has the oversight of the store. There's only one way you know to find out would be to try her with it.
Right. Fair. Okay. Well, I have. Assuming
I
no one else
can probably save you a little bit of trouble though, mate, because what she's going to do will be make you an offer based on the value that item has when you look at it in and click
in
on
the
it.
store.
It'll
Sweet.
actually have a value on it. So
in
she'll make
D&D
an offer to you, and in Foundry as well in your inventory. She'll make an offer to you somewhere up to that value. If I can save you a little bit of time,
You can.
because you can look at some of that stuff in between.
And I have 189 gold.
All right.
I'm
Well,
willing to give you to get a +1
thanks.
weapon.
So I've got 137 gold and 5 silver. But yeah, we're talking. What you said, 350 for a +1 Warhammer.
15.
315, 315.
Right. Well,
She's now speaking a little bit more slowly to you, just so you can. Pocahontas can
good.
is very clear that he understands, and she's also a little concerned about upsetting you with the wrong. You're not clear on the price,
Fair.
and you make a deal.
That's all I got then. So
yeah, you know what? It's good. I'm good for the moment. Like, I'm sure we'll revisit. I'm going to ponder on what to have, but I will leave you with a couple of items for you to value. Hoping.
All right. Can you shoot me a PM in Discord? What you're leaving her with? Because I just want to do it that way, above the table talk, just to expedite some of this, so that we're not.
Easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I know some of you have a lot of stuff. So Mish will have a value for you to potentially either accept or negotiate when you come back to her. Not tonight.
great.
That's cool.
All right. So are you making any? So she knows that you put out this big pile of stuff. You're leaving it with her to value.
Now,
so she puts that aside in
all this gold won't do us any good if we're dead.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right. She's going off to dig up.
Give me all your
do you like a longsword or a warhammer? Okay.
Let's just have a quick look.
They're
Let's
both
go
the
for
same
longsword.
price.
Longsword's pretty easy.
Longsword?
Let's go for a longsword.
How much did you say you had? The two of you?
137 gold and 5 silver.
So you're going the longsword plus one?
The plus one.
So you're doing the 315 gold longsword.
Yes.
Yep.
I've been
okay.
So you got 137 points.
I do.
And the offer is there to all of you if you would like to clear items
lot
out of your inventory.
Metal.
Just please PM me. Don't chuck it in the D&D channel, and I will make sure that Mish has an offer for you when you come back.
Cool. I require 178 gold to complete this purchase.
I'll give you 177.5.
Right.
And 170. Yeah, because it's 10 silver to a gold, isn't it? So,
yes.
Yeah.
I just walk over and I dump the rest of my gold into Fox pile.
Cool.
And how much was that?
Just 35. Just
There's another 35.
35 gold.
Ivy's just had
does he
enough of this
need?
whole thing.
I have enough.
Well, Fox is now coming out of this really well.
So
plus
you better
35
protect
gives me
us.
172. So
Here I dropped 93 gold.
I just gave you 177.5.
No, you didn't.
Foxy has
There you go.
everybody's gold. He's become
Excellent.
the banker. The accidental
No, he
banker
hasn't.
of
He
chaos.
hasn't got everyone's like gold.
Okay, he's got gold
He's
from
got
everybody.
some
sorry,
of
I should
my
say.
gold.
Just monies.
Yeah,
All right. So while all this is happening, and there's like an abacus is now out, and whatever's happening over there to sort this, would anybody else like to make any Any more purchases
Well,
or
they can't. They
find
just gave
anything?
me all their gold.
Find anything out of Mish? Do you
Oh
have
no,
any?
I still got lots of money left.
She can identify items for you if you still have anything left unidentified. She's the same as Mort in that, and she has offered to, seeing your Desperado Club tattoos, she actually offered to identify items at no cost in the store. She can't do it out of the store. Same with Mort.
Is she allowed to leave the store?
Yep. Yeah, the NP.
I have all the golds.
Gaming speak NPCs, but these guys who are just like you, crawlers who have become indentured to Boran, are able to move around the world between, and some of them, like Mort, will follow you into safe rooms in the dungeon if that is their role.
No, I just like leave and go give Mort his cheese.
Oh yeah, you can leave.
Yeah, but you can't tell the other dude, remember? The
Hmm?
cheese dude. The cheese dude can't know that the cheese is for more.
Yeah, but she's
I
already
never
got it. She
mentioned
didn't.
anything.
Yeah, she didn't tell him who it was from, and Shay was really excited to be making so much money out of you guys. He just thought the raccoon liked cheese. All right, so
Oh, hey,
at this
the
point,
raccoon has no perception of what gold and silver are, so
Alia has ditched. At this point, I'm just going to move you off. We'll come to you in a moment. While you're all, she's just dropped a pile of gold on the counter for Fokionis to complete his purchase and headed off.
Right, so how am I completing this purchase given that it still only shows 137 gold in my inventory in the shop? Out of curiosity.
Do it on D&D Beyond, please. So just manage your money in D&D Beyond for each of you. The money that's showing in the store is whatever the default setting is. I don't know if it's yours or, but even if it is yours, it won't push back to D&D Beyond. So just manage it in D&D Beyond, please. I've updated the inventory of the store to take 1 +1 longsword out, so you can add that to your inventory. After much stuffing around, you're able to take that into your possession. So it's you can tell that there's an increase in quality to that weapon over the other ones you've seen, and admittedly, that most of the ones you've seen in the hands of the dungeon constructs have been very low quality and mostly fell apart and just became scrap metal when you were done with them. But some of you did start with some reasonable quality weapons, and this is definitely a step up. So you've got a longsword +1 now that I'm assuming you're equipping. You can sort that out. Racy, you have so much scrap metal. Sorry, I should be responding in Twitch. I shouldn't be replying here. Just saw that message and went, oh shit, yes you do. All right, so Alia has disappeared at this point. Zachary, Ivy, would anyone like to do anything further with Mish, who is more than happy to get started on Rick's order that she's made more money today than in a long time? Yes, Ivy.
Okay. So now that we know how to use these potions, is it possible to make these potions? And how do you guys make these potions? Is it something that I can learn, or is it like a weird magical thing that only you can do? Or
yes. So you did you, when you were selecting? I know there's so much to take in. Did you do anything with alchemy?
no.
Okay. Well, you said Mort is your Bobka, yes?
Yeah.
So Mort's specialty is alchemy. He can train you. I can sell you an alchemy kit that will give you the starting things that you need. But if you talk to Mort, he will be able to begin your training in alchemy. So the alchemist supplies are 50 gold. You do need those to get started. And I love that Ali was all cashed up and she's just dished.
I'm gonna go have to find my raccoon. I
Okay,
may or may not be back, and Ivy just sprints away trying to find Alia.
Would you like me to okay, I'll just put this, and Mish just puts the alchemy supplies that she was starting to get out underneath aside. So He has now just taken off running after. Yep, all right. Disappeared. Just yep. Reminder as part of the recap that the shop owners, etc., are protected in this space. You guys are not. Just
Uh-oh.
thought I'd remind you. But yes, so we're left with Zachary and Phocyonis, and Mish is.
Just to be clear, we're safe in the store if we're near the NPCs.
Yeah, you're safe in the stores.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Let's go hole up in the
Alright.
cheese. No.
Yeah, we should go with them.
You guys are going with them?
Yes, let's go with them.
Yeah.
All right. So Grebo had just been, unbeknownst to any of you, just been rubbing around Zachary's ankles, and as you all head out in your staggered fashion, he just follows after you again, unbeknownst to you, but I'm letting you know that he has made himself known enough to Zachary just before he walks off, just to remind you that he's there, and then sort of fades into the background. Now, thankfully, the very sparsely populated streets, it doesn't appear that this instance of the world between that you guys have come into is heavily populated just yet. You did see a few people in groups walking the streets. It's not clear whether they're crawlers or retired or indentured crawlers who are manning the shops. Everyone that you've come across has done what you guys said you were doing, which is essentially hiding your name and your affiliation, so that there's nothing displayed over your heads. The default setting was that it was on, and you all elected to turn that off in the very first dungeon that you landed in, or to leave it off. So you all make your way back to the safe room. Now, Alia, you arrived first before anybody else. So you took off, you come in bursting through the doors. Mort's just sitting where you left him. The bottle on the counter looks like it's about half empty. I don't know whether it's the same one or not, but he's sitting where you left him and appears to have just been steadily drinking the day away while you've been gone.
All right, I'm just going to pull out the cheese wheel and dump it in front of him.
The eye just lights up at the 30-pound cheese wheel just that you've muscled out of your satchel like a Labrador trying to crawl through a cat door, and just slammed onto the counter. And he just begins gibbering with glee. Oh, yes. Oh, that fucker, yes. And he just, there was thank yous in there, but there's just such sheer joy that he got the cheese from whatever his interaction has been with Shay. And please remember, keep the change. You have earned every penny. And just from somewhere under the counter, because of the size of the wheel, produces a short sword which looks like a cheese knife with the size of the wheel, and just starts carving up his wheel of cheese. He's fixated on that at the moment, unless you would like to draw his attention. But he is very, very thankful.
Oh, I want a double cheeseburger out of that.
Oh, nope, coming right up. And he just starts slicing some extra thick chunks that are pretty clearly you're going to get a very, very, very juicy cheeseburger from Mort. As that's coming in, he's still there cutting the cheese. So Alia, you come through having raced off chasing after your raccoon to see that she's sitting there perched up on a stool on the opposite side of the bar to Mort, watching him cut through this giant wheel of cheese that you have no idea where it came from, with a short sword. Over to you. That's what you've walked in on. A Care Bear cutting a wheel of cheese. Just mumbling in glee. He is the happiest I've seen him.
I can literally just like imagine this, and it's funny as fuck.
Nice cheese, I guess.
Oh,
It's not
yes.
Joe cheese.
Your companion is just a marvel. Just a marvel.
It's Gouda cheese.
You should see her at 3 a.m. with a packet of Doritos.
Don't know what that is, but sounds amazing. And just he will happily give you his attention, but at the moment, the joy of having gotten this wheel of cheese from underneath Shay's nose, as Mort just he is zoned in on that. And as that's occurring, Fokionis and Zachary roll through the door. Now, as you guys get there, you walk in on a partially, like, just looks like the smallest amount coming out of it because of the size of the cheese wheel, carved cheese wheel. Mort is just walking towards the kitchen and he's holding up these giant chunks of cheese like he's like a trophy, heading into the kitchen. Alia, you can safely assume that he's going in to make your double cheeseburger. He's disappearing that way. Ivy's just sort of looking perplexed at what the hell's going on. Fokionis obviously knows more about this than anybody. And Zachary, you are similarly to Ivy, just walking into this scene of, for you, watching a Care Bear walk away with giant chunks of cheese, a short sword sitting on the table beside it that's been clearly used to cut it. It's a very strange and bizarre scene, and you can just hear Mort kind of almost singing a victory song as he walks off into the kitchen, holding aloft these giant chunks of cheese. Again, the happiest you've seen or heard him since this entire crawl began. His normal gruff demeanor has been, at least for the time being, lifted.
Haven't baked the fuzzy bear happy.
You certainly didn't. Now the smell of the cheeseburgers cooking is coming from the kitchen, or your cheeseburger, sorry, cooking is coming from the kitchen. Not that the others know that. I guess I should have kept that to myself. So you're there. There's cheese on the counter. I believe, Ivy, you were chasing after your raccoon for something?
Yes, I was. But look, the cheese seems to be more important somehow. And I immediately forgot why I wanted my raccoon.
Okay. Zachary, Fokionis, you guys, did you come back for any particular purpose? There's busy sounds of cooking in the kitchen. It smells great. You can hear Mort singing away.
No, we just looking after the raccoon and Ivy.
Everyone gave me their gold, so I thought I should.
He's our
That's right.
bodyguard now.
Gold. Hey, raccoon friend that can now talk. You know how I let you live rent-free in my house for... and eating all my snacks? And that one time you got into my makeup? How much gold have you hoarded by accident?
A lot.
How much is a lot?
I think I collectively, after giving Fuck his, I still have 117 gold.
What?
You all need to start bin diving more.
Wait, how much did you give? How much did you give for?
93 gold.
93. So he should have that extra then, because
More than 37 gold left is what, or more than 35 gold left.
Yes, Alia did have extra from
37.
Mort, but her and sorry, you guys were all there when she received that quest. Yes.
Well, I'm going to
was
ask
it?
for a small loan of
I see.
50 gold to go keep talking to a very cute shopkeeper. I mean, to go buy stuff.
So
I'll hand over 50.
And so you've got the gold, Ivy. Are you taking off back to the shop? Like you just
Well, I'm
zigzagging?
going to boop my raccoon first, obviously, in respect. And then, yes, immediately run back to the shop.
Ivy's back off running, getting quite puffed at this point from the distances between the stores. All right, Ivy's back through. We'll deal with Ivy. I will say you the streets again. You're very
Feel like
fortunate
I'm the
that
banker.
they are largely empty at this stage.
I'm a loan shark.
The others don't know this, but you have safely navigated it back to the Mishmash merchants and headed into the shop. The rest of you, you've just seen Ivy get money and do a really cute boop with her raccoon and then take off.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
just
go
sitting
with
here
him.
waiting on my cheeseburger.
Did we happen to tell the rest of the group about the cheese merchant's kind offer?
Nah, not yet.
I thought we did mention that.
You started talking about it, but we got really time crunched. So
Okay.
you guys haven't yet. You guys basically started to mention it
Blame
and
Corona.
got cut off. No. So at this stage, no, and Ivy has disappeared out the door. As Ivy is exiting out of the old school Hungry Jacks, Mort comes out with this cheeseburger that is the mother of all cheeseburgers. Like, the plate is the size of a large pizza. Goodness knows where he's got the buns from, but this thing is basically a pizza-sized hamburger that there are some little bits of meat poking out, and they're just clearly what started off as those two big lumps of cheese that he cut off have been melted and cooked through the meat. So this is really a cheeseburger in every essence of the word, that it is more cheese than burger, and just carefully places it in front of Alia, and just with a small smile and a nod. He didn't bring anything out for the rest of you. Had not even recognized really your presence. And the two of you have just come in. You missed all of what's come before. So he just goes back to gleefully cutting his cheese and singing his little victory song, and sipping from whatever he currently has open on the counter in front of him.
I'm gonna get my dagger out and cut it into 4.
Aww. Yep.
Aw.
So it's now being
I like
it's in 4
trash,
pieces.
and I have a stash of cheeseburgers. So
You do. You got like 10 of them in you that he cooked for you
yes.
to stop you stealing everybody else's. So now, are you cutting that in quarter? I was going to say, to make it easier for you to eat. Oh yeah, okay. So
No.
Ali has cut it in quarters and has he's handed over one to Fokionis, one to Zachary, and I imagine stashed the other one for Ivy.
Yep.
All right, you've all got a quarter of a cheeseburger. What would you like to do?
I gratefully accept and take one bite and go, this is too much cheese.
And Mort will happily talk to you guys too, by the way. He's just become very distracted by his cheese victory.
Cheese Vic.
I know one person that's gonna like this cheese.
All right,
So
while you guys figure out what you're doing, Ivy, as you've breathlessly rushed back into Mishmash Merchants. Mish is currently nowhere to be seen, but hearing your voice, she comes out of the back room, and there's like these nails in one corner of the mouth. She's got some chain links. She's got a fistful of cloth. She has clearly launched into her promise to Rick to get his stuff done within 24 hours. And seeing you come back in, hastily puts all that down behind the counter and climbs back up on her step stool. Yes. Did you want those alchemy supplies? I put them aside, but you ran out so quick.
But yeah, I didn't want to waste your time, so I figured if I went quicker and grabbed the stuff and then came back, I'd have more time to talk to you. To grab the alchemy kit.
Yes. So she takes it out, hands it to you, and accepts gleefully the 50 gold pieces, and just that disappears somewhere on or around her person under the counter. Is there anything else I can help you with? Did you talk to Mort about the alchemy training?
Not yet. He's very busy with cheese. Big cheese.
But he's not allowed to. He's banned from the cheese shop.
Raccoon bought it for him. She's a good girl, you know.
Please make the most of it. This might be the only time you ever see Mort truly happy. That's great.
You snitched.
I need to stop looking at Dante's webcam during these sessions. I really do.
It's just been
So
me
is
the
there
whole time.
is there anything else I can help you with?
I don't think so. Is there anything you think, having more experience in this place than us, that we should get or be aware of, or
The one, actually no, two things. I was so young. My brother and I was so young when we came through the crawl, but but I've sadly seen quite a few. Two things that seem to come up. Regardless of the AI, there always seems to be a water level. One of the dungeons always seems to involve water, and with the Kuatin in charge, I would suggest that you keep anything that lets you deal with water. Get as much of that. I've got one potion of water breathing, but I think some of the Bopkas may have been passing on that info because I've almost been cleaned out. But there's many items that you can come across. I will keep any that I find, and vials. These glass vials that she just holds up an empty one that's like on a leather strap. These can be really handy if you maybe kill something or come across something that has poison or some special properties. Especially if you're doing alchemy, they are very, very handy. Or you might be able to see Mort to assist you further with them. That's about all I can say.
Okay. One last thing.
Mm.
How else?
Sorry,
do
I
you-
just realized I had something and I'm taking it to work.
You're right. I can't see you guys anyway, so carry on.
How do we make this easier for Mort? Because he's been very helpful for us. So
Just try and be understanding when he's grumpy. He is. Mort took my brother and I in when our family didn't survive the crawl. He's the reason we have this shop. He helped us finance it with our indentured instead of us getting something way worse. He did much of our basic training. He's got the biggest heart. Be understanding that sometimes he can be a grumpy old bugger, and don't make too much fun of his current form because he truly was a magnificent creature before pissing off the AI.
good to know. So, are you always at the shop, or do you have like work hours? And then...
She points up as I live here, but I will close for commissions and just to take a break. But with so many crawlers coming through, I am open at the moment almost all hours, and with my brother not being here, running the shop solo is I'm here a lot, but I do get out. I just not much at the moment. There's not a lot to do until level 2 opens up and we actually get some of the more fun aspects of the world between available to us.
Well, if you ever need any basic help cleaning or taking stock while ever we're in this area, I'll gladly help you if it makes it a bit easier for you to run the store.
Thank you. And you can see she's thinking over how that might work. Doesn't quite have a way of taking you up on it, but is really genuinely appreciative and a little bit surprised that I don't think that's an offer she's ever received before. You get the feeling and impression with your perception that that's not an offer she's ever received before. And hands over the alchemy kit, and it's neatly packaged up and the same as it was with the health potions you got. It's very sturdily packed together. Even though it's going into your pack that essentially renders it in stasis, she's put it there so that regardless of how you move it about, it's pretty well breakage proof. And it's quite a large box of bits and pieces that you have no idea what they are, but that Mort will no doubt start your training on if you do choose to go down that road.
All right. Well, I should probably get back to them before they try to eat what's cheese or something, or Alia gets stuck in the ceiling. But thank you again, and I hope to see you again at some point.
You're very welcome. I hope that you make it through the next dungeon and that we are seeing each other again soon, and maybe before. I'll be here. I am going to be very busy with your friend Rick's order. That was intense. You can see the cogs whirring, that she's already ticking over how she's going to get all this done.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. You too. You too. Say hi to Mort for me.
I will.
And just waves you off as you head out the store, and heads back into the back room, picking up all the bits and pieces she dropped as she's muttering to herself about how she's going to get all of these things made for Rick. All right. So Ivy's headed back over again. You've started heading back over. I don't know what the others are doing yet. So at the moment, I'm going to put Ivy in transit, and we'll see what everyone else is doing. So those of you back with Mort, you've got your cheeseburger. Zachary said it's a little bit too cheesy. Fokionis is, I believe, hoofing into it, or it's probably already gone in 2 massive bites.
Maybe 1 bite.
All right, so he shoved it in his gob. What do you guys want to do?
Where'd Lily? Where did Ivy go? Damn it.
Mate, I can't laugh too much. I've done it twice already. Well, an hour in.
So, okay. On their way back? Yes, on their way back. So, can we assume then that we've started to convey to the rest of the people in the safe room that we have the opportunity to have a bit of a side hustle and figure out what's going on in Cheeseman's Cheese Emporium storehouse?
Oh, yeah. So you guys are going to start that conversation with Ivy not present, because Zachary's just asked, "Where's Ivy gone?" Just want to deal with that first. Does anyone have a response for him?
Yes, we inadvertently going to start that conversation without Ivy in relation to inquiring as to where Ivy is to go, because we want to talk to her about this. There we go.
All right, so brushing over with a kind of a half I don't know, not here, Fokionis begins to divulge, the info from that Shay had conveyed as a potential side hustle.
There's a side hustle. We have to move quickly. The longer it takes us to figure it out, the less cheese there is, the less cheese there is, the less money there is.
Oh, let's do it now then.
Well, I'm looking at this short bear over here and wondering if we should start questioning him to see if he knows anything about the disappearing cheese.
If you want.
More.
And you just look up, and there is that. It could not have been a truer statement with this golden Care Bear with a mouthful of crumbling cheese going out either side. Just looks over. He just doesn't stop chewing, but he's nodding at you.
Seeing how you're a purveyor of all things fine and cheesy, might you cast some light on any thoughts you may have about potential things that may be stealing cheese from a cheese storehouse?
Chews, swallows. Yeah, he's still the happy glow is still surrounding Mort with his cheese victory, and so Mort responds to you with just on that, and he points over his shoulder. And if you look on this is on your map, and so it'll be updated now that you've gotten a new location. If you look directly to the right of the safe house, you'll see there's a building that's got what looks like a garden bed outside it. That's the cheese warehouse. So on the outside of the wall. Yep, there I can see Dante's mouse wiggling over it. So no, just the large building next to what looks like a vegetable garden fenced in. So no, where you are, but you're not there yet, really.
Just confirming.
Look, he's a cheap bastard, and he got a huge warehouse outside of town. If I had to guess, he's probably got vermin problems that, just like in the real world, for some reason the AI keeps much of the same shit. And he points around his place, and you go, there's rat sack in there and there and there, and these points and discusses like there. He's got different things to keep the safe room clean of insects and rodents, and you've never seen a speck out of place. So he keeps a very, very pristine safe room. But Mort's for whatever the interaction has been between him and Shay, very disparaging and just doesn't think he's up to scratch with his cleanliness and his standards, and probably has a vermin problem. Take that as you will.
All
Right.
right.
So, not you, just to clarify.
No,
No. Although,
I wouldn't need this if I just go and stole it, and then it just keeps eating.
good point. No, fair. You've got me there.
Look, you are welcome
Checkmate.
to roll an insight check if you wanna check.
Nah, not worth. Yeah, no.
All right, now as all of that's happening, Ivy has arrived back breathlessly, but
Yeah.
happy with something.
Still alive.
She's wearing a path between the Emporium and the safe room, but she has joined you in this conversation you started to have around. See, Ivy, you've just walked in on essentially Fokionis asking out of nowhere for you if Mort stole Shay's cheese, because you've missed the entire update on the potential side hustle.
I mean, I'd steal that cheese too. It looks pretty good.
Wait, so you stole the cheese?
No, but I 100% would if I could. Not exactly the most stealthy person.
Right.
So we know where his warehouse is, right? So
That's
he can
that.
steal like all his cheese
No.
and blame it on the vermin.
Ooh, maybe. I mean, that'd keep Maud happy.
Mort's looking and listening. He just goes, his hygiene might be lax, but his security against intruders, it's pretty high class.
Except for
Be careful.
Typical.
cheese missing from his warehouse.
Well,
No,
Mort's
let's not
told
do
you what
that
you've heard Mort's suspicions on that, and
Right.
he's of the opinion that it's just because Shay's standards of cleanliness and hygiene and vermin control are not up to snuff, but he believes that the security against humanoids is much higher.
Against
All
Grand
right.
Theft.
So yeah, we got a job.
Well, yeah. I
Maybe
think there is a chance we could have a job, which, maybe
Slightly
a bit
more
more money.
interesting than stacking shelves, hopefully. Is laying rat traps, I guess.
At worst, we're smashing some mice. At best, there's something else.
Side quest time.
Side quest.
Yeah,
Alright.
exactly.
So,
Alright, so we
above
go
the
back
simple question, do we need to inform the purveyor of fine cheese that?
Yes.
You told him. Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking me. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh.
No, yeah, I was.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you told him that you would come back and let him know after you had consulted with your group.
Yeah, we did, definitely. I remember that.
Right, so we'll go back then.
Okay.
All right,
Yep.
so you're leaving Mort to his.
Okay, enjoy your cheese
Just-
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as
Yeah,
he waves you, it's from somewhere. He's got a pot and he's starting to melt. Like
Oh,
he's
God, fondue.
Mort is about to have his own solo fondue party, which may have been a solo fondue party, even if you guys had had stuck around. All right, so you're all heading back over to
Before
following.
we do,
Yep.
I'd just like to let Mort know that Mish says hi. That's all.
Oh, thank you. Oh, she's a dear. And again, you've seen his glee with
Oh,
the
she's a
cheese. You actually
goblin.
see a bit of a softening in his facial features and expressions. And Ivy, you're the only one who has a context for that after your conversation with Mish. That there's obviously a very caring familial bond there that you pick up on. Obviously, you had with Mish, and you picked up on that with Mort. The rest of you. None of you have a high enough perception passively to have noticed anything other than this strange little, oh, yep, that's right. Mish said she knew Mort, and you've seen the interaction. All right, so you've just come back in again, and now you're straight back out and
Right.
off to the
Back
world
to
of cheese.
World of cheese.
I'm just going to put yours down around the chest.
Well, look at that.
So as you come through, with Fokionis and Alia leading the way as the ones who've been there previously, pushing through the doors. Same deal for those of you who weren't there. This very, very, despite what Mort was saying, it is a very cleanly laid out, very organized, almost OCD, shop front. The cheeses are all clearly labeled. There's 25, 26 different types of cheese. I've chucked a link to that in the Discord for you if you really want to dig into it. It's very neatly arranged. It reminds you greatly of how Mort is obsessive about his safe room. So it's still unclear as to what the bad blood is between these two, but you do know not to mention Mort's name, and you've successfully purchased that cheese and delivered it to him. So as you come through into this shop front, and you just hit with these aromas of cheese, with everything from the sweet through to the very pungent. This tall, a thin man at the far end, again the same as what he did when Fokionis and Alia came through initially, sweeps around with these this world's version of a trench coat and his big wax mustache, and starts to do his welcome to the world. Oh, and he sees the two of you as, oh, it's you. Yes. Which is perplexing to the rest of you, but he's pulled up his big greeting because he's still a bit unclear as to what your intentions are, where he was hoping to get some assistance from you. So Fokionis or Alia? Or anyone else?
I was talking to my group here. Well, it's not my group, but the group that I'm in. And we have decided that we would accept your cheese sleuth-based quest.
Oh, and perks up at that. The sour, kind of untrusting look immediately disappears from countenance. Very well. And he pulls out this fob watch from his pocket, looks at the time, taps it a couple of times, then taps it again, then starts spinning it. And go, will you look at that? Closing time. Puts it back away, ushers you guys out, flips the sign on the door to closed, and it starts to lead you. So Shay is actually going to lead you all the way through around the bottom end that you've basically been running from the top end of the safe room, and he takes you all the way through and out to the Cheese World warehouse, which has the same sign as what Cheese World does, but it's got Cheese World warehouse on it. And Grebo has just been quietly following along behind you guys. Now, when you get there, let me just activate the next scene, and you should be able to flip over to the cheese warehouse on there. All right, hang on, let me... stupid program. There's a few little dots on there. Just ignore those for the moment because you're not meant to see them. Just pretend they're not there, all right? So you guys all get out. I'll fix them up in a moment. Arriving at the entrance of Cheese World. So it's a giant warehouse that looks essentially like a medieval version of Bunnings. So it's got these giant, like 30-foot walls. It's got a thatched roof instead of the corrugated iron that you might be used to. The giant
agents wandering around thinking there's a camera there.
It's got these giant.
Summer is the greatest time for cheese.
It's got these giant doors that look like there's something out of the Lord of the Rings,
got all of your summer cheese needs.
And Helm's Deep at the front of it, and then off to the side is actually even more of a Lord of the Rings themed, a much smaller door that appears to be much more human sized as opposed to what you can only imagine gets delivered through the current giant sets of doors. So Shay leads you around to that entrance and then continues to move you around, lead on to around the side door that is the human-sized entrance. Takes out a set of keys, opens the door. Now the door itself, actually I'll move all you guys in a sec because you have to do a couple of movements. The door itself opens into just pitch darkness. He clearly knows where he's going, so he unlocking that door with the large ring of keys that he has on his produced on it from his person somewhere, just like he did with the fob watch. He heads in. It's just quiet for a few moments, and you're just staring into this pitch darkness. Some of you who've got dark vision, you can actually see some silhouettes of items that are in there and make out like the corner of a bed, what looks like a bed, and a chest at the foot of the bed, but there's not much to see through the doorway itself. And then all of a sudden, light floods the area, and it floods around the outside of the building, even though it's not quite dark yet, and it seems to be filling the interior as well. And then some footsteps are heard, and you see Shay ushering you guys in. Come in, come in, come in. You won't stumble on anything now. So Shay heads in. The rest of you, are you going to follow him into the warehouse to find out what's going on?
Yep.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. All right, let me move all of you in. So you are heading, it's going to be very crowded, but he's essentially where he is. Actually, let me move you guys, and then I'll... There we go. That's where I want you.
So we came in through this.
Yep, and it's he's shut it behind you, but just essentially it appears that he's very security and safety conscious, which is understandable considering the amount of thefts that he has explained to you that he's been experiencing. So Shay sits behind the desk and explains to you guys. Hang on, I need to flick over to the OneNote for this now that you've landed here and decided to take up the quest. So he, in filling you in, explains that he's had some bad experiences with crawlers in this early stages of the crawl, including one group where he accompanied you to the warehouse because he gave one group a key. They never returned the key. The cheeses kept going missing, and the group never came back to either like claim the quest or otherwise. And so he's quite miffed, and especially at the cost of having to replace all the locks, seeing as how they had a key, and he was concerned about theft. Little does he know who's got sitting in his office at the moment. So in there, as you walk in, you walk through a bedroom, which is, again, it's very neatly appointed. It's very simple. It's very basic. There's a fireplace. There's the bed. There's a chest of drawers. It more appears to be like an office bedroom rather than a home. It certainly doesn't have many homely appointments. Then into the office itself, it's like a big banker's desk. There's a rug, like a half circle rug rather than a full circle rug, that is very neatly lined up against the wall, and then it goes underneath the desk itself, with a chair on either side. Shay's currently occupying one of them. I think Fokionis has lobbed himself in the other, and the rest of you are standing around the office. The shelves around the office appear to be filled with leather-bound ledgers that are on the spine, very neatly labeled with dates and what appear to be codes, like business codes. And there's actually one ledger open on the counter that, as he sits down, Shay just doesn't make a big deal of it, but he closes it from the page that it's open on. Now, I would like who was near? I would like Fokionis. Could you make a perception check for me, please? Because you're the one who lobbed on the other side of the desk, to see if you were able to pick up anything that was in that ledger.
Okay, perception.
Yeah.
Does 14 do it?
With a 14, as you're sitting down, you do get a quick glance at it. With reading not being and observation not being your strong suit, and also reading upside down, making it just that little bit harder, you're able to basically pick up the headings at the top of the page that said something about recording this week's losses. There appeared to be some columns with some numbers in it, and there was some mention of gold on the page. As best you can tell, it was a page detailing what he has talked about with the amount of cheese that's being lost in the warehouse. That's the best you can make out. So as you're in that room, Shay actually hands you a hand sketched map. It looks like it's been reproduced somehow, as you guys have have been told, you're not the first group to come through. So it's not super surprising that he's tried to be prepared for the next group or groups to deal with this issue and problem for him. So what he has marked on there is essentially some zones, and the numbers of those zones indicate the ages of the cheese. So he's just pointing out to you that the way the warehouse is broken up is sectioned off into the age of the cheese, and the cheeses then get moved around. And by the time they hit the first zone, that is when they're basically then ready to go to the shop front. So for the different types of cheeses, they have different aging and different processes after they've been created, which is done separately. Then they're brought into the warehouse and they're rotated through those zones. And for you guys as well, he believes it should make it easier for you to keep a record of your searching, because he doesn't have a huge lot of faith in crawlers, with his past experiences not yielding the successes that he was after. So you've now got in your hands, who's taking the map? Fokianos, I know, sitting across the table from him, but it's been offered anyone can take the map and see what's sketched out on there.
I mean,
I'll take it.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So Alia, as he's handing it over to Fokianos, just reaches out, grabs it.
Map?
What?
We're going to find out.
No, it just looks pretty here.
And then with that, he just also
Hey, he
mentions
said to take it, not read it.
that. Oh.
I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, that's true.
As he watches, a little bit confused, like he's had a chance to meet Alia and deal with his initial surprise at a talking raccoon, which is still for everybody almost in this world, with so far the exception of Mish, has been extremely confusing, confronting, and in some cases very worrying. He's at this point now quite able to work with the fact that Ali's there, and this little hand, which is her head is only about as high as the desk, just reaches up and grabs it as it's about to be
With my
handed to
four
Fokianos.
fingers.
With your 4 fingers, like something out of a Gremlins movie. So with that, and now
Don't
that
feed
you've
it
got-
after dark.
that should be a sign around Alia's neck. He does also mention that that some of the cheeses, as part of their maturing process, can be quite pungent in aroma, and the gases that they emit can be quite flammable. So don't use, if there's any sections that aren't terribly well lit, please do not use an open flame to look around those spaces. And with that, with a bit of a smug look on his face, he sits up straight in his desk. At his desk, I've got something to help though. And goes, warehouse, luminous, and the lights
This
outside
Harry
of the
Potter
office
or
start
D&D?
lighting up. Can I get each of you, please? Can you do a perception roll for me?
Another one.
Yeah, this is everybody individually.
Oh, damn.
All right, hit
I
me with
can't
those
remember how to
rolls.
do it in there.
24.
16.
24, 16.
Does a nat 20 do it for me?
11.
All right. Everybody except Alia, who is currently turning the map around, trying to figure out which way is up, having snuck it out of her bag after Zachary had disparaged her. Everybody else notices that while he's trying to sound like he's doing something amazing and magical, very clearly Shay was tapping something under the desk that has illuminated the warehouse, essentially turning on the magical lighting and trying to make a production of it, to big note himself.
I like clap and go, wow, that's amazing.
Do you
Oh my
though?
god, is that a spell I can learn?
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't make a Harry Potter reference, I'll be very, very disappointed.
I think you already have. Maybe you must have been watching.
No, but
those,
technically I wasn't paying attention, so
I know.
I don't know what the hell happened.
I
You saw
know.
the lights come on. You didn't see how we did it.
All right. So with your, he's looking at you a little bit. Not his strongest suit, picking up on sarcasm. So,
wasn't being
Arlen goes,
sarcastic, of course not.
I wasn't being. I was trying not to.
you may learn that spell if you progress far enough.
Oh my god, I can't
Okay,
wait.
Harry
You must
Thank
be
you,
like an
Zachary.
amazing magician. Oh,
And you know, maybe he'll be Shay the Great. Now, as you're heading out, so you guys are good with the map and the areas lit up. Is there anything else you want or wish to do?
do we need to like bring back any of the corpses of the things we killed to prove we've killed it, or like?
Evidence.
Oh, sorry. I
Do you want us to dispose of
thought-
them elsewhere, or?
So Shay,
Pause.
in responding to that, I was a little bit confused initially because he thought that your teammates may have explained before you agreed to the job. Essentially, he wants to know what is causing the loss of the cheese. So, what is as much information as you can gather, evidence that you can provide would be greatly appreciated, and even better. He would be even happier if you were able to resolve the issue. That would make him even happier again.
That's a
But
polite way
he
of
wants to
saying
know
fight shit, kill shit.
he wants to know what is causing it, and be informed and hopefully have it resolved.
So, did he answer the question?
The answer was yes.
I believe so.
Kill things.
Okay, so
Find out
evidence not
what's
compulsory, but
Chaos.
beneficial.
find out what's eating the cheese. Compile
Resolve
that
the issue.
information or evidence however you see fit, and if you can,
Exterminate.
resolve the issue.
Murder.
All right. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
With- if you can just, so as you look at Ali has currently got the map. Would anyone else like to have a look at it? Would you guys like to have a plan of attack through the zones? Do you want to just head into the warehouse? I'm asking all these questions because I just need to organize you and get you into some sort of marching order.
So, just between the zones, are they all open, or is there like are we just following the pathway of crates?
Yeah. So
Saying?
those the white lines are essentially where the owner has sketched in the areas themselves, just to show you that this is where, in those bigger rectangles and squares, where the cheeses go as they do their maturity levels. Number 4 is the only one that doesn't have a border around it at the moment, but that's that unbordered section, including the room off to the side, and as they basically are heading towards number 1, 5 being the least mature, and then or the longest maturing cheeses, and then when they hit number 1, they are then ready to start being moved out of the warehouse.
It seems inefficient given that one is not near the door, but okay.
I'm
You know
sure
what
he
sucks?
would
I
appreciate
can't
that
even bring
feedback.
out my companion
Yeah.
right now
Why not like keep them?
because
in the
it's a
same...
flamethrower.
Yeah, why don't keep the cheese in the same place and just like move the labels? Or, like...
You can see that from Fokionis's feedback. Shay's actually listening, thinking, he's nodding along, going, That doesn't say anything, like, because he doesn't know whether you're talking to him, but he's actually opens up a separate book and starts scribbling some notes. I think he's appreciated that offhanded comment.
Oh, I love it.
All right, yeah, let's just.
All right. So
Go
as you
in.
guys are figuring yourselves out and talking, Shay just comes out with you to open the small person-sized door that is in the much larger suspension bridge door type door, very large door that's sitting there. There's a much smaller one built into it as well. So he unlocks that for you. And if there's nothing else, and starts to head back to his office.
Oh, so
Maybe
he'll be there.
to
Is that where he'll? Is that where he
Yeah.
resides?
yeah, this is where he'll be
It's his home. What do
when
you
you
want
finish.
about?
Yeah, that's
Hey, so is it like well lit inside now? He's
Yep,
done his.
yep. So the whole area is lit, as you can see. In terms of, there are a couple of areas that are not as well lit as others, but we'll cover those when you get to them.
Well, this will be easy then. I'll just yeah, stick to the left, I guess. So we
to the
Don't-
left, to the left.
yeah, so we don't
So
Get
Zachary,
lost.
are you heading through into zone
I'll
4?
Follow that guy.
yeah.
All right.
I'll
Mhm.
go
Everybody's heading in.
fucking now.
So as you come through, as you can see on the the sketch map, but walking in is a little bit different. So you walk into this warehouse and it's neat, but it's not as organized as the shop frontage. It seems like the cheese is being stored in whatever containers have become available. There's everything from what looks like repurposed shipping crates, things that look like they may have been better suited with luggage in them. There's all kinds of different containers of shapes and sizes, predominantly wood in this area that you can see, with some of them reinforced with some metal around the sides. But it's you come into an open space. Ivy looks like she's gone for a little bit more of a further walk around than some of the others of you. You've move your tokens to where you want to be, but you basically entered into area 4. What would you like to do?
Let's look around.
All right, so for this, are you all going to go and have a look around area 4? Is anyone wandering off?
No.
Where are you looking to be for this? Are you all sticking together to investigate area 4 is I guess what I need to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I'm a sniff around.
All right, so
We won't
you're
stay too long, but yeah.
Alia is looking specifically for smells. So can you go ahead and do an investigation roll for me around
please
that?
roll it.
You'll each be rolling individually for this first one, the way you've with Alia going off to do the smells one.
Wait, what do
So-
you want me to roll? An
An
investigation.
investigation check, please.
So is
And
that
I will
is
consider
that
this
in the
to be.
senses box where it's like a passive investigation, or in just
This will be you are actively investigating.
So
If you have an ability to get an advantage on those rolls, you have a roll with advantage if your character has that. But you are specifically looking for smells, so roll that investigation and just check your character sheet to see if you have advantage. And for the other Fokionis, what do you?
Well, I
what do you
have additional senses types, so like passive investigation is that what I should have clicked? Or skilled?
No, I don't want you passive because you are actively looking
Right,
and
so it's
searching
a
at this point. So I want you to.
So I have a
to-
14.
Okay, hold that. Fokionis, what are you scouting around?
I'm gonna investigate this pile in the middle of 4, like basically like here.
Yep, so you're specifically going around that central pile. Yep.
I'm just looking at that central pile. And,
Okay.
I've got my, because I have night vision, so that I feel like that's helping me, even though it is illuminated.
It is very well lit in this area, but yes, you do.
It's fully lit. But
All right. And what did you roll for that?
investigation?
Yep.
Ooh, I got a 3 minus 1, so 2. So I'm finding fuck all.
2.
Oh,
I'm lucky to find my own feet.
There are boxes, and you're pretty sure there's cheese in them. Zachary.
Same thing as Fokion, and that's helping him.
Yeah, but hopefully
Yeah.
a whole lot better success than boxes of
Yeah.
cheese.
it smells good.
Investigation here or perception?
I would like an investigation, please.
It's cheese in the box.
5.
Oh my god, what is going on?
It was
Look,
better.
there is cheese in them. You're pretty sure that this is some of the maybe cheddar or cheddar with holes in it. Yeah.
Please.
All right, Ivy.
I'm gonna
fuck's sake, someone
just
roll me
look
on figures.
around. Nothing specific.
All right.
Just kind of chilling.
Yep, and you've sort of headed out around 4, and then you've gone across into the side section. Yep.
Yeah.
What did you roll?
A 19.
Okay.
Nice.
We're going to deal with Alia and Ivy, then we need to come back to Phocionis too. So, first
Don't need
off,
to know, really.
between Ivy poking around and kind of kicking the odd box and moving things aside, and Alia just bum up, nose down, sniffing through every nook and cranny, out of seemingly nowhere, you guys disturb a group of what looks like, you think, 5 or 6 rats that come erupting out of different crevices and nooks and crannies. They go scuttling out straight between Ivy's feet. There were quite a few in that side room where you were. There was at least another 3 or 4 that were disturbed around Alia. There were some that were around Zachary and Phocionis, but you guys were completely oblivious to them, even moving past you as you were poking and prodding at the boxes. But you could very clearly identify, you guys all know what rats are, and the 2 of you especially who got good looks at them, and you are very confident that there are 5 or 6 rats that when you've disturbed them, because of the nature where most of them were, they appear to have all just gone bolting out that door that was left open behind you, that you walked in through. So
Did we all see that, or only those 2?
Those 2 definitely saw it. Do you, before I come back to the other 2, do you guys have any reaction to the disturbing that what appears to be about half a dozen rats?
I feel like I start chasing them around.
Rats.
All right, so I'll deal with Alia first. So you've chasing them through. I'm gonna
Well,
get
I'm trying
you
to herd them, if you understand what I mean.
Yep. So they all funnel out the door that you ran in on. When you get through that door and come back, like to the other side of it, they appear to be gone. Not sure where they have disappeared to, whether they've like headed up the stairs, whether they've got another entry point or an exit hole. They certainly funneled for this room. Like they headed there immediately when they were startled. None of them headed off to other parts. But with your perception roll, that's about all you've got, is that they disappeared out. Now, one of them was right next to you when you startled it. Can I just get you to do an attack roll, just a straight attack roll with whatever weapon you want to choose, please?
Okay. Let me see. What have I got on me?
Squish it.
So we've
I've
addressed
only
where
got
you end up
my
going.
longbow. So just roll my hit.
Yep. Yeah, just do it. I want you to do an attack roll to see whether you hit the rat or not. The one that you disturbed right next to you.
10.
10's all you needed. So even being startled, you smelt that rat that was right beside your feet, and basically without even knocking an arrow in your bow, you just to pull the arrow out and skewer it straight through the rat, killing it instantly. There is now a rat skewered with an arrow at your feet.
Well, damn.
So we'll come back to what you're going to do with that. Ivy, you had the same thing. There was 2 or 3 rats that darted past you, but one in particular got stuck as you were moving around, looking at things. A bit of I think, survival of the fittest rat. This one was a bit dumb, a bit slow. It ran into you a couple of times. Could you please go ahead and roll me whatever you would like to attack it with? Let's see if you nail a rat as well.
A 14 with guiding bolt, so that everyone will be able to see because it's going to glow.
Oh my god! Wow. Yep,
Phew,
they've got
jeez.
1 HP, and you just have nailed it. That is now a glowing rat upside down, just brilliant blinding light at your feet in An upside
I
down
found a rat.
pose with feet in the air. All right, so Ali, what would you like to do with your rat that is currently skewered to the floor?
Oh, I'm gonna pick it up.
All right.
Don't eat it.
Stick it in your
No.
bag, or are you going to
No,
carry it around with you?
no, I'm gonna be like, anyone want a barbecue? No.
All right, so Ali's carrying around a rat in one hand. Ivy, what would you like to do?
Point at the rat. Just keep pointing at it. Like, you know how people do finger guns, but like pointing.
So at the moment where you are, you're out of sight because all of the crates and things are piled up almost to the ceiling. So some of these are 20, 30 foot tall and you're out of line of sight of anybody else, but they can see a glow coming from the side room. And I'm going to leave you there at the moment. Now,
We're dealing with my shitty roll.
the ones that went through from Zachary and Fokionis, they escaped. There was at least 4 or 5 of them that got away, but you did manage to take 2 of them. And when Alia went through, there was no sign of them still being in the building. Now, Fokionis, as you're walking around just poking, going, that's wood. That's also wood. Not paying attention to where you were going and not having anyone else around you to maybe help or highlight to you that it's there, you step in a giant trap that was left there. Like it was there to catch like half man-sized rats and rodents. This is not a mouse trap. This is essentially a bear trap that had you looked would have seen some crumbs on there that rats have clearly eaten the cheese off this trap. And you step in it, springing it, and the teeth pinching open dig into your leg. Now, I need to have a look at... Sorry, I needed to get the damage for it.
I don't
All right, can you
remember him
roll?
mentioning these.
Can you? No, he didn't. Can you do a dexterity saving throw just to see whether it does actually get you first? Sorry, let's see if you make the saving throw. 9 doesn't do it. It is pinched onto your leg, and you take 1 point of piercing damage, and you're currently stuck there until you get out of that trap.
Roll any character.
God, I hope not. Do you have any response to being stuck in that?
Oh my fucking god, what's going on? Some shit's bit me on the foot.
So everybody hears this, no matter where you are. You're not in combat or anything like that. You've just Vokionis has stepped in a trap. So is anyone coming around to see what's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm already standing there. I'm just
you can see him.
Stay there with my rat. Like, what the hell?
Turned around from where you're sniffing and skewering your rat, just going, what the fuck? All right, yep, Zachary, you're around the corner.
I run up and see the trap and sort of try and pry it off him.
Okay.
I can if I can find a bar or something nearby, that would help. If not, I just use my bare hands.
I have a spear.
You can use actually no, there is there's nothing nearby with you can. Now you rolled a 5. There is nothing nearby that can help you out with this. No, we're good. We're going with your current one. Can you do a strength check for me, please?
Sure.
Just straight strength.
Be strong.
10.
You strain, you put your back into it, you put one hand and a foot on either side of those teeth, but they the trap just doesn't budge. And you can see a chain going off, bolted very firmly into the flooring underneath the crates.
No, I want to sigh and walk over there and try and help.
Yep. Go ahead.
Was it strength, isn't it?
Yeah, do it. A strength check. We're just going to do one more of these.
Yeah, I have.
With them doing this, can I bring my glowing rat out?
Yep. Ivy's coming out with a glowing rat. Yep. You rolled a 15.
Yeah.
Look, coming up, you just tap Zachary on the side and go, hold my rat. And without even breaking a sweat, one paw on either side of the trap, just shook. You open it up. Fockianus lifts his leg out and you let it go and it goes kong and
I
shuts.
loosened it.
Are we?
And then grab your rat back off, rat and arrow back off
My
Zachary.
rat trophy.
As you come around the corner, Ivy has a glowing rat in her hand and just comes around to see see Alia effortlessly freeing Fockianus from the trap. All right. You have investigated that is area 4 with the 19 and the 14. You're very confident that you have given this area a really good
I
look.
actually rolled the wrong strength save.
It's
look,
fine. Don't worry about it.
it's fine. Honestly, with his strength, I was going to give Fockianus like basically an instant after his moment of surprise. He was going to get out of that trap with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was where we were going next, so we don't need to re-roll. All right, I'm going to just make these rats invisible because you're carrying them. I don't want to move them around with your characters. Just take note that you've each got a skewered and a glowing rat, and the rest of you see that they've got they've each got one
how
of those.
many I can fit in my arrow.
Wow, well, one way to find out.
Yeah, fix it on there.
Wait, did you just give me a rat?
Yeah, have the glowing one. Put it on there. Squeeze them all up.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So there's a standard rat, and then next level up, there's a glowing rat on the skewer. All right, let's see how many rats this arrow can hold. Now, what would you guys like to do? There's a trap there that's now closed. Zachary, you did say something about the trap that got lost in all of that. Did you wish to revisit?
Yeah. Say, Shay didn't mention there are traps in here.
Can we have a look at the map? Is there anything on the map that says traps?
Would Alia like to? Alia's currently got the map.
I don't know. Ali, I couldn't read. It said traps.
Alia?
Would have told us.
Look, Alia flips the map round and round and round, upside down, sideways, even looks at the blank side of it. There is nothing mentioning traps on there. There is zones and there is numbers to indicate the cheese maturity areas.
I'll keep an eye out for traps, guys.
Oh, great. More things to fuck my feet up.
Where would you like to go next?
I'm going to take out my javelin and start to, lead with that, just in case.
Let's go west to area 3, I think.
All right. And who's marching order again as you're heading, through that area? It appears much more vigilant, and we'll take that into account when we deal with area 3.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'm following.
Have my rapier out in front, just waving it around, tapping on things.
Yep. Yep. So
where's Rick's bedroll when you need it?
I was just about to say, if only you had Rick's bedroll.
I got scrap.
So at the moment we've got Zachary's leading the way, then Ivy. Fockianus was poking things with his javelin, and I think Ali is coming along behind, just carefully trying to push the rats down to make room for hopefully more. All right, so coming into area 3, we're the same as what we were in area 4. Oh, actually, did anyone want to do anything with the trap before we move on from that? Did anyone wish to inspect it?
We left it triggered, didn't we? So
it's closed.
It's now safe, if you will.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Okay. So you can see on the map what's designated as area 3. You've now got a look around it. You can see that there's some stairs going down into an area that is still lit, but it's a bit dimmer. And it's quite whatever cheese is in there is quite pungent smelling. There's a very strong cheesy odor coming from down the stairs. But at the moment you're all at the top section, basically the bottommost point without going down the stairs of area 3. We'll start where we did before. So actually, we'll go with Ivy. You had the previous highest roll. What do you want to do in investigating this area, and where do you wish to do it?
I'm gonna just look around again.
All right, so you've headed down. Everyone's being hyper vigilant. We'll take that into account as well. Alia, where would you like to look, smell, sniff? Do you wish to do the same pattern as before?
Yep.
You're going to sniff about?
Yeah, sniff around because
Yep,
I have the good nose.
All right, and where do you want to be? Do you want to come over
everywhere?
All right, so you're gonna walk a circuit around 3 sniffing, and Zachary, what are you gonna? You see you placed yourself somewhere?
Yeah, I'll go sort of that sort of direction. Yeah, keeping a keen eye on the floor for traps.
Yep.
But,
Yep. Everyone's been
looking
hyper
in other
vigilant.
places as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what sort of, at least one, you've seen one kind of trap that appeared to have been like put there either for giant rats or bears, or possibly people. It might be some of those security measures Mort mentioned. Possibly, you don't know. All right, Fokionis, what do you want to do?
I'm going to focus on the middle section here again, but I'm leading with the javelin.
Yep, poking the ground before taking any step. The javelin is being poked into the area ahead. All right, go ahead and make your investigation rolls for me.
Just another shit roll away from a bloody sore foot.
I'm so
just
glad
passively investigate because I get a better roll that way.
No, because you're
damn
actively on a mission.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Oh fuck.
Oh, yeah, there's a 4. Yep. All right.
Oh, my eyes.
Yep, Ivy.
8.
Fucking hell. Now it's the other way around.
And Fokionis?
Guess what I rolled again?
He didn't roll another 2.
I rolled a 3 with my -1 investigation. That's 2. Fuck.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
This is awesome.
I'd be better
We're
off
oblivious.
paying no attention at all to what's going on.
10's average at least.
As you guys are poking around, you do disturb some rats. Like you're not sure how many. There was definitely some at the bottom around where Zach and Ali was just madly sniffing around, but Alia had a really hard time smelling the rats with the 2 that are already on the arrow. So lots of false positives as she's sniffing around and bumping into things. Fokionis is too busy poking his javelin into the ground, avoiding traps, to really see any rats that are there. But the rats that you do see, it looks like with those shit rolls, it looks like they seem to be heading in a similar direction to what the other ones were, you think, but it's hard to tell because there's the directions that they disappear from view in. Some of them definitely run past Alia and Fokionis and head into area 4, but the ones that Zachary disturbs head up, look like they're heading up into that top alleyway, so they could wrap around. They could be heading further up north. You don't know, but there's definitely some that headed over to 4. But you are all so slow to react that despite your best efforts, you don't actually hit anything. Now,
well, that zone was cleared out real quick.
What did you roll, Ivy? Okay. With the room that you are in, Ivy, it's filled like with just a pungent aroma of cheese. It's making your eyes water. It's making it hard to see. But having seen one go off before, you feel your foot pressing into something that gives a little bit, and you desperately try and pull your foot away. Can you do an athletics roll for me, please?
Really quick, I'd like to say I didn't see it go off originally, so
you saw it close. You saw the end result of the trap that had a pressure pad on it and 2 steel teeth wrapped around Fokionis's leg. You saw Alia open it up. So you've felt something give. You're hyper aware because you were looking for those traps. You feel like you've definitely done something, but I need you to Yeah, roll the athletics check. Let's see if you avoid whatever's happening.
Be athletic.
13.
13. That's exactly what you needed. So with that, you pull your foot back, feeling that give, and just by the narrowest of margins, the trap snaps shut just under the sole of your foot, which you can't really see because of the pungent aroma that is making your eyes water. What you can see near you that you stumble into from that trap is there actually looks to be some weird shaped sarcophaguses and what might even be a coffin, possibly. It's hard to tell because there's so many differently shaped objects that have been used to make or store the cheese in this warehouse. But there's definitely some weird looking things that you can't quite make out clearly in that bottom section where you are. For the rest of you, Phocyonis, you narrowly avoid a box that you're so focused on poking the ground that your broad shoulders knock into one, but it falls harmlessly between Alia, who's behind you, and yourself, barely missing the back of your head. And Zachary, you continue to poke about. You find definitely some signs of some rat presence, which you've already seen with them scuttling about in these two sections. But you also see what looks to be like a well-worn trail through the slight layer of dust that's on the floor that is heading up to that alleyway, like the avenue in the warehouse to the north, so heading straight up, or northeast. You can see that there's a bit of a trail that seems to be well worn there. And that's the direction you saw, at least.
Worn by little feet or big feet?
Little feet. There's definitely some signs of bigger feet, but they're quite uniform, and you can see like that there's often points where they've stopped around the boxes and crates, and but the little feet are consistently moving in this straight line through the big feet and through the undisturbed sections. And that's the direction the rat that you saw with your 10 headed.
Hey guys, found some tracks. The rat track.
All right, so
it's not poo, I promise.
Zachary's called out that he's seen some rat tracks. Ivy, you have seen some coffin-looking things. Are you mentioning that? I'm just asking before we move. The group makes a decision on where to go next.
I think there's more than rats. You want to try fitting one of these onto the arrow, or?
You're calling out, but no, all people can see is kind of your hazy form through the cheese smell.
If I cast light on my rapier or something, would it help?
You can come down and try and see if it helps in that the gloomy. It's more the eye-watering nature, and then like a bit of a haze from the smell of the cheese.
Spills that might blow some smell out the way.
But you can try. So if you want to come down,
you can push a little bit. Like,
well, you've come down.
I don't know. I could light it on fire if.
Oh my god.
There was definitely a very clear warning about the fire. Just, I think your group remembered that. All right, so at the moment, are you all heading down to where Ivy is? Because Zach was calling out.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll head to where Ivy is. All
right. Did you do the light on the end of your rapier?
Yeah, or however much that helps.
Yeah, it definitely it's really that eye-watering shimmer, but with the four of you there, it's actually displacing some of that that smell, if nothing else, because you're breathing it in and out again. And it doesn't smell awful. It's just a really strong, very, very pungent, cheesy aroma that seems to becoming the most strongly from the concrete looking sarcophagus in the right hand side, and then what looks to be a timber coffin on the left, and then there's just some miscellaneous other containers, but they don't seem to be as much of the source of the cheese.
So
do they keep this cheese in coffins? Like, how weird is
Can I do a sniff around again?
You if you're going to specifically focus around those two containers, absolutely.
Yep. So you want me to do?
Would anyone like to assist? Because then she can roll with advantage. Save everyone rolling.
Yeah, I'll assist.
All right. Yep. Do that roll with advantage.
perception or invest?
I
For
click
this one,
advantage.
she's specifically trying to find out investigate, so investigation. So the 14 plus is your. Do you have any investigation modifiers you get on that with your smell?
I rolled in the map thing and I got 15, but that says an intelligence advantage.
Yeah, because you're doing an investigation check. Okay, 15
Yeah,
is more than enough for what you're doing here. So with each of you helping and Ali are sniffing things out and very carefully and cautiously worried what you might find lifting the lids of those two containers, despite what concerns you may have had and how creepy and weird it is to keep cheese in those containers. It is literally cheese, and it appears to be some sort of version of blue vein cheese that is in
yeah.
an advanced state of maturing, but it's still not quite done yet. So the coffin itself is just full to where the lid closes, but the sarcophagus one looks like the blue vein cheese has been mixed in with something else to make it firmer. And with that 15, you actually can see that the shape that is in the top of that sarcophagus that is acting as a mold is actually a reasonably close approximation of Shay. He appears to be making a cheese sculpture of himself in that sarcophagus.
Oh my god. For fuck's sake.
God.
So nothing
Okay,
untoward.
this cunt doesn't transform into a rat. This is just weird.
So he's hardening
Poor
cheese
Shay.
into the shape of himself.
Yeah.
Yep. So it essentially looks like Han
Nobody should
Solo
love
and
cheese
Carbonite,
that much.
but it's Shay.
Right.
Poor Shay. All right. So there's nothing else you can identify down there. Clearly, you're forming some visions of Shay as you go through.
This dude needs to get Apple.
Before we wrap up, would you like to do anything with this? Will be my last question. Do you want to do anything with what Zachary was? He indicated that there was something he called out that he saw as well.
Oh, the
Yeah,
track.
let's go follow the tracks.
Let's get away from this fucking cheesy.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So you head up and following the tracks that Zachary had seen with his role, you follow them over to another crate of boxes. You definitely saw one rat head up this way, and I'm just going to get you to do the same thing again.
Roller 2. Fuck.
Would you like to do individual? You're just going to have a close inspection of this series of crates, and I would like you to roll either an investigation or a perception check, whichever is highest for you, because you can make your own judgment based on you followed these tracks into a pile of crates, and you just want to have a closer look to see what your abilities might show up. So no advantage, just individual straight rolls on either investigation or perception.
I'm just going perception because at least it's not -1.
Oh, I'm going perception. It's 10.
12.
It was a
We got a
toss up
10.
between 10 and 3, and I was like, 10.
I choose Peg's physical dice because I just wrote a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
From
I'm happy for you to do whatever you like. Just
all bad rolls. I don't trust the non-physical dice.
do it.
now.
Do it however you would like. Just tell me what your
rolled
roll
a
is.
17.
All right.
12.
16.
All right. Well, at least no one gets hurt. So with those across the board, with just moving things around, using like your advantages and strengths, and whether that's smell or sight or hearing or whatever it is that or just poking things with the javelin that you're using, or lighting with the tip of the saber to see what's hidden in the shadows, you can actually see that there is a rat hole in these crates that has clearly been well trafficked. There is some hair attached to the outside of it, a little bit of blood, which is probably from the last rat that ran off in a hurry, scurrying away from Zachary. But this is definitely a spot in this central section of the crates that has definitely been used, and that hole disappears into and underneath the massive amounts of stacked crates of cheese. And with that, because you can make your decisions on what to do next, that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Well done, everybody. You found...
Because I need a pee.
You found the sarcophagus mold. I was really hoping you guys
Oh
would
god,
find that.
what the shit? What the-
And
I mean, I
please,
don't know what's worse, the fact that he has a body mold of himself or that he's filled it with cheese. I don't know which is more disturbing. And that he's mixed it with something to make the cheese go hard. I mean,
yes. And started blue vein cheese as well. Like this is.
I don't know. I don't want to know about his blue vein. I really don't.
That was why it was that cheese.
It'd be great to bring it up to him later.
I look forward to that conversation. Please make sure
I look forward to seeing what's in your OneNote in response to that conversation.
Oh, I've got to figure it out now. If you can send me through before as early as possible, just so I can get a chance to bundle it up. Anything you want to sell to Mish, just shoot me that as however you want to get it to me, just in a private message, please. You can put in a spreadsheet or just take a screenshot of the items and circle them. Like, just get them to me. Anything you want to sell to her, and I will make sure she has a bundle price. And if you are someone who would like to negotiate that, then have your own price in mind as well if you want to. But just letting you know that we will have a price for you on your sale items.
Water ain't gonna get rid of shit.
Yeah, I know. I was already confident there wasn't going to be anything there from you. All right. Now, look, I know that got late. I did want to definitely get through 2 of those sections with the pace you guys were going. But you've all survived. You've only taken 1 point of damage, and you've all got, to a greater or lesser extent, some shiny new things. Yeah, and we'll catch up next week.
No way.
Oh, she'll just talking to us. Like, let me raid out before you get too cross.
No, my cat was going behind my monitors. I was like, no, I don't feel like dealing with you pulling my quads out tonight.
Fair. That is fair. All right, give me like 30 seconds just to do the raid out. And then I'm happy to have a little bit more of a chat with anyone who wants to.
Oh no, as soon as you raid out, I'm leaving. I need to go.
Oh, actually, I might just call it because I'm just looking at the time and I've got an early start in the morning. So thank you, everyone who's hung out. Please go find someone else who's D&Ding or just your next favorite streamers to watch. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And I will catch you all next Monday to see where this goes.
Is Lily going live?
Oh, if Lily's streaming, I will happily go and raid out to Lily.
I mean, I was joking about it, but if you're going to, let's go. 100%.
Yeah, do it.
Stuff.
You better hit live because I'm ready to raid.
I'm going. Oh no. There's pressure now.
Hurry up, because I need pee.
I'm sorry.
I hasn't eaten in at least 2 hours.
Sorry.
Sorry.
There we go. I think I did it.
All right, let's see. This channel, there we go. The raid is ready. All right, thanks everyone for the hang tonight. Go say good day to Lily. She was the lovely Ivy that you could hear wrangling this through illness this evening and doing her best to manage her raccoon companion.
I don't know.
And if you want to catch the rest of it, it's all up on YouTube.
My money.
Right. And yes, but you gave it voluntarily. All right, catches.
I want to be part of my own raid.
All right, Lily, they're all yours now.
I don't know why. Okay. Oh God.
Hi, Lily's people.
The thing's muted.
Oh, Lily, did you end up putting your camera on? Because I just went with, because you had the camera off, I just put your Lily image.
I had it already, and I did have it on for a little bit, and then I just turned it off again.
All right, what I might do is put your
noises.
Put your Lily camera image over the top of your picture, so then you can choose which way you want to go with it. That way I don't have to try and remember which one to turn on.
Okay, that's smart.
There we go. Sorted. Oh, and what's happening with Dante's picture? I just realized it's all out of center. I need to fix that too.
Dude, I told you that last fucking rant.
But I fixed it after that like with the webcam. Yeah, I did. But then you didn't have a fucking webcam for the longest time.
But I do now again.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Oh, you did it, and you did some shopping, and you managed to not go too murder hobo-y without your moral compass, Rick.
I'm gonna leave before you guys start talking about spoiler things.
Oh,
No
spoiler
worries, Lily.
things.
Yeah,
Bye.
spoiler things. But before I go, you want to say hi
Bye.
to everyone because I'm unmuted now?
Hi, Lilies, everyone.
Hi,
Be
Lilies,
good.
everyone.
Look
Bye.
after her.
I'm gonna go murder people.
Do it.
You
Bye.
do it.
Do it.
Go and do the everything you hold back as
Murder.
Ivy. Oh,
All right, I'm
all
gonna
right.
go now.
Bye.
No worries. Thank you very much for the game and the just craziness.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
You're very
Bye.
welcome. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one. I will catch you guys next week, if not before.
See ya.
Bye.